So I linked in the description of a step-by-step front bumper removal. So after you've already taken off all the bolts, basically you just grab it and then it comes right off like that. And check the link. Here I'm first removing the grill inserts, and basically you're just pushing down and pushing and pulling on the little tabs and then it comes right out. You don't need screws for this one or any sort of tools needed really other than your fingers and maybe a flathead to help you. But this is good for when I pull the wrap through, I can pull it through without it being in my way. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking a 7mm socket and I am removing the 3 black screws that are holding the front fender flare extension onto the front bumper. So we're going to remove that, and then we also have to remove some white clips. And then we also have to remove these black push pins. Now these black push pins we have to break because we could not get them because they were already like clamped shut. So we cut them off with a knife and we're just going to go to AutoZone and get new black plastic clips to do that with. So as you can see here in just a second, I tried to pry them open, but I couldn't get them. And so we just decided to cut them at that point. And now these are the white clips. They literally, you just push them down and then you pull them out. It's super simple and they pop right out. And as you can see, that holds on the fender flare extension. And then I'll let that go. And then I'll take my 7mm again and remove these 3 screws that are holding this on. And I will also be removing the front lip. It's the air dam, that's what it's called, the air dam. And I will be removing that as well because I'm wrapping that separately. So I have to remove basically everything on this bumper to get a nice clean wrap. And yeah, and now we're doing the 3rd screw. And we will have to break those black clips on the edge. If you can see the ones that I'm touching right here, those will not come out. We could not get those. So we had to break them. So now we're removing the lower grille on the bumper, and you will need either a T15 or a T10. We lost our T15 bit, so we had to use a T10, and it did work just fine. And you'll have to remove all of those, and then and you will also need to go to the front side of the bumper and use your same T10 or T15 bit to take these out on the front, and then it will come out. So I really wanted to take out the entire grill insert, but we couldn't. So what we did is we just loosened these pins that were holding the front, I don't know what you want to call it, plastic piece down. And we had to cut some of this glue through because they glued the pins down. So basically we just loosened up the entire front end of the plastic piece just so I could get my wrap and tuck it under and then put the plastic piece back on top of it so to get a nice clean cut. So now that you have your front fender flare extension off, you can just literally pop these right out. It literally comes right off. But then once you get to the bottom, there is one screw that you will have to remove, and it is you'll need a 7mm right there, and that holds that one fender flare piece on. So once you get your 7mm, you just can unscrew it, and it's a super long screw, so you have to keep doing it for a minute. and then it'll come right out. And then you can pop that off. But then to remove the bottom extension fender flare, you have to remove the other two using a 7mm as well, which we're doing right here. And then after So once you get all 3 screws unscrewed, you're going to have to pry out the black push pins, and they're really flexible, super easy. So all you have to do is pry it, and then it'll basically pop right out like that. And then, of course, Dodge wanted to staple
what the fuck?
this on.
They really stapled this on. What the fuck? Are you serious? Hold up. We stapling on parts on a $100,000 car? Are you fucking serious? Wait. Dodge! Yo.
The Dodge brothers, what are you doing?
I mean, you guys tried. That's what matters. Okay.
So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to pop off this fender flare, and it's super easy. Just pop it off. And then we have to go down and remove the one screw that's down there with using our 7mm socket. Again, the really long screws, so you're gonna have to like do this for a little second. Now that this one is out, we're just gonna pop this right off, and it comes off. And there's your fender flare. Okay, and then you want to unscrew the other 2 7mm screws for the rear, or for the bottom extension fender flare. And here you have those black push pins that we just have to basically pry out, which I'm doing right here. Okay, those come off pretty easy, and then it's stapled again. So, there you have it. Since I completely forgot to get a video of the rear fender flare removal, the top half literally just pops right off. So it literally doesn't have any bolts, nothing, it just pops right off. But then when you go to do the rear extension, that it has a couple bolts holding it on as well, and you'll have to remove those in order to get the rear extension flare off as well, and then it'll pop right off.